All right, we don't kiss on camera. Told you. We don't want people to know. It's been a while since I switched this camera on this channel. We're in the new garden, new house. We've been here just over 2 months. That's not why I'm filming this video, but that is why I've took quite a break. The reason I've switched the camera on is because I've had this beauty for 12 months. Well, we're now June. Just over 12 months actually, about 13. I just thought I'd give you my thoughts on it. I've been barbecuing for about 10 years now. I started on a Weber Smokey Joe. I cooked the Scotch eggs on the Smokey Joe fairly recently actually, but I started about 10 years ago on that. Shortly after I got a Weber Master Touch. It's pretty much one of the most popular grills that everybody starts on, and I've still got one now. It was grey, but I then won a competition. I won a free one in the competition a couple of years later, so I gifted the grey one to my dad and he still uses it now. So I've had this red one behind me for must be 6-7 years maybe. What do I think of the Weber Summit Kamado? This is the E6 version, so it hasn't got a side table on, which I would have loved, but it was quite a lot more expensive and it was always fixed to the barbecue. Therefore, there's no flexibility, so I just thought, you know what, I'll get a barbecue table to go next to it, although I still haven't bought one. The reason I bought this is because at the time, I think it was 2020, I bought a Weber Smokey Mountain to do some low and slow cooks. And during COVID, I got it delivered and we were having smoked meat 2 or 3 times a week, getting deliveries from John Davidson's, and it was a great time. Obviously not for a lot of people, but for us personally, it was a great time. We were in the garden, couldn't go to work, it was sunny, we were smoking meat left, right and centre. I've wanted one of these for a long time, but I couldn't warrant the price, and it was about, I think I paid nearly £1,300 for this, or just over £1,300. I think they are still about that price now. So what I decided to do was sell the Weber Smokey Mountain and my red Weber kettle and have this as my only barbecue. Say only barbecue. I've got a couple of small Webers as well. So I sold the Weber Smokey Mountain, bought this, but couldn't get rid of my kettle. I've got a rotisserie for my kettle, so that was pretty much the reason I convinced myself I could keep hold of it. It turns out it's really handy for larger cooks, because I think I cooked for like 50 odd people last summer, and I was using both barbecues at the same time, so it was really handy. The Weber Smokey Mountain I had was a 47 centimetre. The kettle I've got is a 57 centimetre. This is a 61 centimetre, so if and when I do a brisket, which I keep saying I'm going to do, but I haven't done it yet. I've done a brisket on the Weber Smokey Mountain. It actually turned out half decent. I get the feeling that this might do it even better. But this thing here will smoke, it will grill, it'll roast, it'll do everything as per a normal barbecue will, but this is double wall insulated, so it's got twin walls all the way around the body. Therefore you get an air gap in between the 2 walls, and that gives you extremely good insulation. Why did I go for this over a Kamado, ceramic Kamado style grill? I really wanted a big green egg or a Kamado Joe. My uncle's got a Kamado Joe, Big Joe 3. It's massive. It commands such a big space and it's beautiful. And the big green eggs, aesthetically, they're so nice looking. I love a green, I love a wooden handle, but the main reason I didn't go for a ceramic was cost. They were quite considerably more than this thing. For an equivalent size, you're talking £2,000 upwards easy. Another thing is, I move my grills around quite a bit. I probably won't when I finally sort this thing out, because I'm sitting on a brand new patio right now, and in September I'm getting a gazebo built, so we'll have a proper outdoor kitchen. But up until that period, I move my grills around a lot. Moving a ceramic grill, especially one this size, isn't going to be the easiest. If I tip it over and it hits the ground, it's going to crack, and I'm pretty confident once they crack, that's it, it's game over. Can't cook in it. You might be able to repair them, but the unknown basically made it easy for me to just go and get this. And my Weber Smokey Mountain 47cm was a brilliant bit of kit. I genuinely loved it. It held quite a lot of charcoal. This holds more. It used quite a lot of charcoal. This uses an awful lot less. I reckon, I've never really measured it properly, but this must be at least 30 to 40% more efficient than my Weber Smokey Mountain on a long 12 to 14 hour cook, because I've done a number of things on this, like beef ribs and stuff like that. I have done St. Louis cut ribs on these, and they are pretty big pieces of meat. They might not be too wide, but they are long, and this thing swallows it up no problem. You get a few racks on this easy. A half decent sized brisket would fit on this really easy. Pork butt, not a problem. I can't see you getting a pork butt big enough to max this out. One of the other main benefits on this over the Weber Smokey Mountain, the Weber Smokey Mountain held temperatures really well, but not perfect. I'm not saying this is perfect, but the temperature stabilization on this is so much more reliable than the Weber Smokey Mountain. And the Weber kettle. Weber kettle's great for short to medium cooks, but once I know a lot of people do long cooks on them with the snake method and what have you, but this thing, honestly, it just sits there rock steady, and you're just not worried about it. You have to keep an eye on it. You have to keep an eye on everything. That's what your electric thermometers are for. But rest assured, this is honestly steady as it comes, as steady as you need it to be. I really like this big, easy to read thermometer as well. You know, I'm not Mr. Magoo, I'm not blind, but especially when you're cooking outdoors, but you're standing indoors because it's pissing down with rain, you easily look through the window and see that temperature on the grill. And this handle, you don't need such a big handle, but who wouldn't want such a big sexy handle like this? It just sets the grill off really well. Don't be mistaken for thinking this is just a big kettle. It's not. I've used the kettle for a number of years, quite a lot of different cooks. I've never done a proper low and slow on a kettle. I have done a number of low to medium cooks on the kettle, and on this. This is a different ball game. I can't quite put my finger on it to tell you exactly why. Not only, it's not just the temperature holding, it's not just the insulation, it's not just the size of it as well. Sometimes it's even just the action of it, just the handle going up and down. I know the newer Weber Master Touch Premium, I think it's called, has got a hinged lid, but that hinged lid is so handy. I like the kettle, the fact you can take the lid off and discard of it, because you can then put a pizza oven top on it, which I used to have once before I got my Gosley. You know, the lid wasn't in the way. You can then put obviously the rotisserie on there as well, and then put the lid on top. I would imagine you can't with this, and the rotisserie would have to have like a chamfered back. I believe the Kamado Joe rotisserie fits on this. I'm not sure if it needs a bit of tinkering with. You'll have to let me know, because I am seriously considering one of them. I think there's a third-party company as well who make a rotisserie for this, but I'm sure it was about 300 quid. And I just think 300 quid, or I've got my kettle with a rotisserie, shall I just keep doing that? You've got this really good vent on the top as well, so obviously you can have it fully open, half open, fully closed, all that type of stuff, as you can with a normal barbecue. But you've also got what they call a rapid fire, so you can open this fully, and the heat it generates, well, the draw it generates and the increased heat it generates therefore is immense. It's not the cleanest, it never is. I don't clean my grills, but stainless steel grill, it's such a heavy duty grill. So it's got the typical Weber GBS system, so you can have cast iron woks and pots and pizza ovens, pizza stones and stuff like that that sit in the middle. Also gives you access to your charcoal if need be. Obviously you can flip the sides up, put extra charcoal in the sides. You get a deflector plate as well. This comes in really handy, because if your piece of meat or whatever it is you're grilling is pretty much the size of your grill and you want to do indirect, you can't create a hot zone and a cool zone because half of your meat's going to be over the coals. So this will allow you to have the bottom of it full of coals and then the grill full of meat. This will sit in the middle, deflect the heat away up to the sides, and then the smoke comes through these little holes. Really clever. I know it's not a new technology, but it's clever. Now, one other clever bit about this is this grill here can be removed, obviously, and you have a massive big bowl for your charcoal, and your top grill will sit on this level here. But I'm not going to get it out just now because it's full of old charcoal. I've still got big old chunks of the big K there from my last cook. There's a grill at the bottom of there. That grill can come up and sit in this little recess here, so you've got a grill higher up for, you know, hotter grilling, shorter cooks or whatever. Then you can drop the grill and have a bigger bed of charcoal. So you can have your charcoal at this level here, a bit like your average kettle, or you can drop it lower, gives you a bigger distance between the charcoal and your cook, or it'll give you an opportunity to put more charcoal in it. It's just really clever. One downside is if you've got charcoal down there and it's lit, you've got this in, then you've got your top grill in, you can't add charcoal to this. It would be nice to have a little hatch. The Weber Smokey Mountain has a big old side door and you can chuck extra charcoal or smoking wood in there if need be. You can't with this. You can if you want to dismantle it all during a cook while it's all hot, and that's doable, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. Weber famously haven't invested in an awful lot of accessories specific to this grill. Because it's got a GBS grill, you can still use your old kettle. Some of the gas grills have got this GBS grill as well. So, you know, obviously you can use all them, but I don't think there's an awful lot specific to this grill. I bought this recently. It's an expansion rack. So it basically enables you to have another grill higher up, but because this lid is so deep, it gives you the ability. People used to call it a warming rack. It's not a warming rack really, because it's still bloody hot. And if this has piqued your interest, the part number is 7647. I think it might be obsolete because I really struggled to find somewhere with it in stock. And that's what colour your grill will be when you buy one of these new. Now, I believe this simply just sits on your grill somehow. Sits there, doesn't it? The reason I bought this is not only to give me more grill space, so you can have this grill almost full and then have some additional food up here, if there's veggies or additional meat or whatever. One thing, I think I was watching a Canadian guy smoking dad barbecue, I think he's called, and he said something that I felt like I've known for a long time but didn't really take myself seriously. When you're doing a low and slow cook, having your meat there is fine, you know, with the deflector plate and what have you. Having your meat higher up in the dome, it's going to give it better smoke penetration, apparently. I don't know why, it just seemed to make sense to me. I think this might be designed for a 57 centimetre kettle, because it just, I don't know, maybe that would have fit really nicely. Yeah, it just makes an awful lot of sense for a low and slow meat to be further away from the heat source. You'll see this on a future cook soon. I've got a massive big pork butt in the freezer, so that's coming. That's getting cooked in the next couple of weeks. So let's get to the negatives. Lack of accessories. Rotisserie would have been amazing. Cost? For a Kamado grill, it's extremely well priced. For a standard kettle grill, it's extremely expensive, but it's not a kettle grill, a standard kettle grill. It's also not made of ceramic, so therefore it's pretty unique. The one touch cleaning system is amazing. I've never really had anything without it of this size anyway. So I've not had a Big Joe, a Kamado Joe or a Big Green Egg or anything like that. I've never had anything with a completely different charcoal grill cleaning system. But the one touch thing, just sliding the handles across left and right, it swivels a blade inside and just sweeps the charcoal away into a little basket at the bottom, and you chuck it in the bin. It's genius. It works so well. One thing I forgot to mention before, One of the reasons, there's a couple of reasons actually I forgot to mention that I didn't get a ceramic over this, although that itch is still there. I feel like I still need a ceramic in my collection. Maybe not a big massive one like a big green egg XL or a big Joe, maybe just a standard size, because I don't feel I cook massive pieces of meat very often. I think the biggest I cook on a regular basis is either pork ribs, St. Louis cut, or beef ribs. And if I ever have a really big brisket or anything, it just go on this. You can use lump wood in this, and I've really fell in love with lump wood charcoal lately since I got this grill. It's extremely well insulated, and I always used to have an opinion of lump wood charcoal that it doesn't last very long. In this, it lasts hours. I've done some 4, 5, 6 hour cooks on this with lump wood charcoal. I use Big K at the moment, although I've just bought a bag of really special stuff from the butchers. Say it's special, bloody expensive, so I'm hoping that's going to be really nice. And I still had some lump wood left over. It was ridiculous. I've always been a Weber briquettes user. I wouldn't use anybody else's briquettes because I just don't see the point, because Weber briquettes are extremely good. And up until I bought this, I only ever used briquettes. I tried lump wood a while back in the kettle and I just didn't get on with it. With a ceramic, you can't chuck hot coals into a cold ceramic grill. It'll just crack it, I believe. You can't use a chimney starter, for instance. So in a Weber barbecue, you can, use the chimney starter, pour the hot coals in the bottom, you're done. With a Kamado, you can't use, I believe you can't use briquettes. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in the ceramic, you have to put your lump in the bottom, like your fire starter, or use one of those electric fan things, and then let it come up to temperature. You have to then let the ceramic be saturated with the heat before you then cook. And I like things that you have to wait for and have to nurture and all that stuff, but sometimes you just think, oh, I just want to get out there and cook something. Therefore, this came in really handy. And my last final point on this over a ceramic, when you're cooking and you put your charcoal in the bottom and get it lit, and then you wait for your barbecue to get up to temperature, if a ceramic goes over the temperature you want it to be at, I believe it takes an awful long time to get it back down to the temperature that you want. This, I've done it a few times. I've wanted a 230 Fahrenheit, for instance, got up to 260 because I took my eye off it. Closed the vents down a little bit, and all of a sudden, well, I can't put a time on it, but I'm reckoning 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later, you've got the temperature that you want. I've done quite a few tomahawks on this, or bone-in ribeyes, reverse sear. So you cook it fairly low for a while, get some nice smoke into the meat, and then you crank the heat up to give it a sear. So I've cooked it like, I don't know, 150 Celsius, for instance, indirect, took it off when it got to temperature, put it in the house to rest for a bit, opened this top vent wide open so that the temperature could get up. Expecting it to take 10-15 minutes. It's not. 5 minutes, mate. This is right round to the end of the thermometer. It's ridiculous how quick and responsive this thing is. So that should pretty much give you an idea as to what I think of this barbecue, and I think it's fucking brilliant. I genuinely do. I love using it. I genuinely enjoy using it. One other option was to go for a pellet smoker. I've always been intrigued. I very nearly bought a Traeger Timberline XL, I think it was, years ago at Hayes Barbecue World in the Lake District in Ambleside. I think Traeger were doing an event there, and the woman who works for Traeger, I can't remember her name now, she's been around for a while and she's a really good cook. She very nearly convinced me to spend over £2 on this massive big pellet smoker. I'm quite glad I didn't. Although I do want a pellet smoker in my life, it's not a barbecue. This will do pretty much everything. It'll do your hot and fast, your low and slow, and everything in between. I hope that helps you make your mind up, because if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, do I buy one or don't I? Honestly, 13 months in, I genuinely say buy it, because if you've got the funds for it, that is, and if you use it often enough, If you're a 2 or 3 time a year barbecue guy then, or girl, forget about it. It's quite an investment. But I've done so many different cooks on this. Every single time it's been easy, it's been enjoyable, and I love it, really do. I definitely wouldn't get rid of it. I can't see anything that will do the same job as this for the same amount of money. I might upgrade one day, who knows? Is there an upgrade? You let me know. See you next video, eh?